So I've been told I should probably record some of the stuff I'm doing here today, or for the last few months. I'm trying to restore a 1967 Volvo 123 GT, serial number 275800. It's a Canadian-made car, and it's not without its issues. Lots of rust. And I'll just do a quick walk around and show you what I'm talking about. This is the engine bay. I pulled the motor recently and has sent that to the machine shop to see if it's of any value, and already found out that the head is cracked. So I've got another head on order. Well, found at eBay, and we'll go and get that, and hopefully that'll be better. As you can see, I've already replaced the battery box, the fender supports, and I'll take you for a quick walk around on everything else. I think I'm gonna have to start calling this series Strong Assumptions, because I'm assuming I can do all of this on my own. The cowls have been replaced, fender supports, like I said, there's a giant hole right there that I gotta fix. The frame supports that were welded in by a previous owner are pretty rough and horrible. And I'm trying to decide now if I should drop that main cradle or leave it in place, because it's been welded. So my thoughts were disassemble everything, make sure it can properly be aligned, and then decide from there if I'm going to just weld it in permanently or try to remove it and properly repair these frame rails. To be honest, with as much rust as this has, I'm leaning more towards the quicker option, which would be weld it in, make sure I can align it properly. The hub to hub, axle to axle distance is even, both sides. Not sure if it's square or not, but it is the proper wheelbase. So the A-pillars were floating in air. You can see the bottom of this. I've basically replaced all of that, and had to redo some of the brackets for the door hardware. Put in an entirely new middle inner rocker. Still have to work the rear quarters out. I'm waiting on a whole new rear quarter to come from Sweden, from Nordicar. I've put in new floor pans and extras because there was so much rust. The floor pans didn't cover all of it. I also had to custom fabricate a bottom piece there, and this bit here and under there. Also in the windshield, which I got to grind this out still with the die grinder, but I had to replace and repair all of this, some windshield areas. There's the battery box to replace, and these little strips here, which are from that rusty bit in the engine compartment, which I showed you. Also custom fabricated that piece at the bottom of the A-pillar there, and got welded in the cowls and floor pans and extra floor pan on the passenger side. The inner rocker was rough in areas, patched that where necessary. Right, basically the worst of it was at the bottom of these A-pillars on both sides, and then welded in the jack point and everything else. Now this side, the seatbelt anchor was fine, but as I went to this side, it was completely rusted out and horribly corrected with a chunk of triangular shaped angle iron. So I had to replace and fix inner fender well there, and also custom fabricate the seatbelt anchor on this side, which took some time. Then going from there, we also had to do some trunk work and inner fender well and spare tire mount. I'll show you this side first. I'm waiting to spot weld those bottom bits until I have the rear quarters and the outer fender wells in place. The trunk was a lot of work as well. Bought these panels from, is either CVR or yeah, Classic Volvo Restoration online, or Nordicar, or there's others, but yeah. So most of this rust, I'm gonna replace these lower bits off the rear quarter as well when I get the new rear quarters. Put in a new support through here. Basically all I had for this trunk was these 3 insets, and then I had to fabricate those 3 recesses and up through there and all through here. The bumper was basically held on with scrap metal that really wasn't even welded to place. The fuel tank rim was somewhat intact. I was able to use it and bent it straight. There's the purchase spare tire and trunk mount there. And while I'm here, I'll just show you what we did on the other side. So from here, you can kind of see what I did there. I am not by any means a professional as far as body work and stuff goes, but as you can see here, I used one of the spare tire bumper mounts and cut it and shaped it, and then built basically the frame rail back and welded it back into the original frame rail. There's a lot of work still to do under here, but it's way better than it was because I have a solid bumper mount now. Now again, I don't have a drain or anything in there yet, but it'll come. Other things I've fixed so far on this, I've done some patchwork on the hood and some custom work under the hood, which was, all of that stuff there was pretty rough, and some stuff in here as well. So I've done some metal work, custom work up and through here and on the other side to strengthen the hood. Also through here. That was the first one that I did and was pretty rough actually. The other side worked out a lot better. I have to do this all in one shot because I'm not going to edit it. I'm too lazy. I'm just going to post it as is. So sorry if that is not what you're hoping for, but there's the other side. That one I repaired a little after I had a little more experience doing this, and it worked out a little nicer. But the hood repair there was pretty challenging actually. But yeah, you get the idea. This A-pillar as well was basically floating in the air. So I had to build that and the front of here all the way up. And this bottom of the windshield here was completely rusted out. I had to replace some of this rain gutter as well as a piece through here and all up through here. So that had to get replaced as well as through this corner here. Welded it all into the fender support. As I was doing those fender supports, I did make sure the fenders fit. So they should be okay. There's that inner rocker again. And like I said, I'm waiting on the rear quarters. This I had to patch as well underneath there. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is, like I said, trying to decide if I'm going to go to the extent of dropping the main support or not. So I decided I was going to disassemble all the front suspension, and got to an area where it's pretty clear this has never been taken apart before, because as I was doing so, snapped the nut. These nuts here had a large leverage bar, and they just popped the nuts off. No matter how much, well, I left penetrant on for a while and it still didn't crack. So I basically heated this up and got the bracket off. So this bracket here I was able to get off. First I got the shims out, and then I was able to use a tie rod remover and was able to get that out. Then I just was left with removing these bolts, and as you can see, I used the welder, MIG welded this nut onto the end. Luckily it had a little bit of a flange on it. I wanted a little more welding purchase. So I was able to push that bolt through, similar to what this one, I haven't welded this one yet. But as you can see, this is loose now. Move my arm so you can see that. But yeah, so this is rotating, which is fantastic. I'll be able to get that one out. Now I will do the same thing on the other one. Maybe I'll try to record, I don't know. But and don't give me a hard time for using a crescent wrench. This is I don't have anything in a regular spanner that's big enough, and I needed something a little longer. So yes, strong assumptions indeed. This is not my line of work. I grew up working on cars with my dad, and saw this 123 GT on Canadian equivalent of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and decided it needed to be saved. When I saw it, it was horrible. I knew it was going to require a ton of work. I had no assumptions that it was good, because if you're familiar with this model at all, some were made in Halifax, Canada. This, I believe, spent its entire life probably being daily driven in Ontario, which is horrible and well known for creating the rustiest cars on the road. The rust repair on this has been challenging, as it usually takes a day to remove the bad repairs and to then do my semi-mediocre repairs instead. But I think this car is not ever going to see daily driving again, especially in the winter. So I am doing my best to fix the rust to the best of my ability, which I understand is limited, and then ta-da! It worked. Sometimes those don't work, but this one did, and I am glad, because that would have been a nightmare to try to get out otherwise. I've done bolts, removing bolts like this similarly. When the threads are a little longer, you can get two nuts on there and then kind of lock it off and do that. I had to do that when I removed the exhaust bolts. I'm going to weld up this other nut, and we'll see. We'll see if it wants to sneak out as easily as that one did. All right, bear with me here. I cannot see if you're lined up or not. Oh, gotta ground it. Haha. Again, rookie move. Okay, that should work better. So I got this nice and hot. I've got the heat turned up quite hot for better heat penetration. The last few times I've done this, I spray them with penetrant. Spray them with penetrant after welding the nut on, and it seems to work. Question is, I think I'm gonna have to add some more under there. It's a little tricky welding with one hand, I must admit. So I'm gonna put a little more weld on there. Okay. All right. Well, what do you think the chances are this is going to work out? Hopefully high. Let's get my big crescent. That's only the 12-inch. Where's my 15? Under the car. Okay, hold that thought. I'm gonna grab my big wrench. Okay, back at it. Let's see if this will turn. I'm really hoping for the best. I'm just gonna try to wiggle it back and forth here, tightening and loosening. Oh, we got movement. Oh, excellent. Oh, that's good. I am so glad there. Okay, awesome. Well, I won't bore you with backing this out or doing the other side. Just thought I would do a little recording, probably mostly for myself, for historical slash, I don't know, memories. I don't like to scrapbook, so I guess you guys are gonna have to suffer through me doing videos of my car and other things that I assume I can do without professional knowledge or expertise. So I am signing off. Enjoy or dislike. I don't really care. This is signing off.